Hi and welcome to the first ever episode of After Hours. I spoke with Dakota Havard, an American artist living in the Netherlands, in my new gallery space in Nijmegen. As you can see, it's still very much under construction, as is this series. The audio might be a bit bumpy, but hey, please stick around for the fun ride. Hi, Dakota.
Hi.
You feeling like doing an interview?
Yeah,
Yeah?
always. I love talking.
I know.
Yeah. I sometimes to a fault.
Usually when I speak about your work, I introduce you like the Doug Stanhope of the art world.
That's really, really generous.
Like quintessentially American, but also you could only do what you do over here, I think.
Yeah. Well, at this point in time, I think I would get kicked out of the country.
Yeah.
For the things that I say.
Perhaps you could, just for the viewers at home, explain how you ended up here. What's keeping you here?
Well, I left in 2017, and I left because I just didn't really see a future in America. And I was right.
Yeah.
Trump got elected, and then I was at art school, and everyone at art school was a bunch of little liberals, and I didn't like Trump, obviously, but they were all like screaming and yelling at me because I wouldn't vote for Hillary.
Right.
And I was like, she's also a war criminal. Her husband's a rapist. He's a pedophile. Like, I don't know why you want me to vote for that or the other rapist and pedophile. And everyone on both sides. It was just getting too split and divided.
You felt forced to make certain choices, or not?
Yeah. And I was like, I got to get the hell out of here. And then I came to America number 2, the Netherlands.
I think within a minute you've lost most of the people who are ever going to watch it, which is good.
No, but I mean, it's partially what all of my work is about, is this same topic of America, and like, it's a hamburger, for God's sake. This
It
one.
is, yeah.
Everything is like Americana to some degree. But I think I felt more American after I left.
Yeah, I can see that. And I can also see, like, you wouldn't make something like this when you're in the States.
No,
No.
there wouldn't be a point.
No, right. And how do you feel like in America number 2, when the politics have also taken a turn?
Well, I mean, it's kind of on us, like the liberals. Like, well, I wouldn't call myself a liberal. I'm a leftist, but I think the liberals stopped talking about class and stopped talking about the welfare of like the working people, and they started talking only about cultural issues. And then that's just perfect for the right, because they can just like pick up that and run with it. And then, because if you talk about like, and the liberals in the government don't care actually at the end of the day about culture stuff either. They just talk about it, get you all riled up, and then they, send you to battle in the streets with your fellow working class person because you're worried about bathrooms one way or another or something like this.
Yeah, I do think you could say like culture has proven to be very efficient at flooding the zone, basically.
Yeah. It worked really well. I also blame the culture sector for getting its own defunding, because if you were to talk about like class and capitalism and things like that, like to a more coherent degree in the art world, neither party likes it, or neither side likes it. Like the neoliberal class of people in the Dutch politics and the Dutch government, who also just want money and, oil and all of these things, same as the right wing do. But then the right wing came to power, and they saw art as a liberal arm of the government, getting funding from the government and pushing liberal ideology. And so then they were like, okay, we're going to pull your funding.
Yeah.
But if you talk about class, I feel like they have a really hard time doing that, because...
Do you feel like there is a venue or a space for art that would talk about class? And
yeah, it's called a gun.
No, but there's like there's private collections, there's museums, there's all these spaces, and you can I've always struggled with the fact like real politically engaged art really doesn't have a space.
No, it doesn't have a space, but also because real, like, you have like talking points that you're allowed to talk about, and like, I'm going to keep using this word liberal, but because art is maintained by leftists majorly.
Yeah.
Like the institutions, the people who produce it. So these institutions have like talking points you're allowed to talk about. Once you start criticizing the institution itself and you get really political of like, where do you get your money from?
Yeah.
How are you receiving this institution? And then when you criticize the institution itself, they often aren't going to reward you for criticizing.
Well, there's of course the whole history of institutional critique, but it doesn't really touch upon sponsors and funding all that much,
Right.
I think. So you can criticize the things a museum shows, the way museums show things, like a mechanism, but the powers behind it that keep it going. You can criticize those, but not within the context, hey, perhaps the museum should take responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I see it the same as like when Nike puts out like a gay pride shoe.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was made by child slaves. And it says woman power on the side when it was made by a 6-year-old. So
Could be empowering.
she doesn't even know what it says. So
No, but that brings me to your work, because I do think you're trying to take a position somewhere in that debate, but you're also trying to get shown. You're trying to get a foot out here.
yes.
How does that work out?
Mostly in just me keeping my mouth shut, I think.
Yeah. Haven't heard much of that today.
No, and it never works in the end. But I mean, you saw it, that thing for the AI exhibition.
Yeah.
When we did the talk, I immediately just went into like COVID conspiracies. It was just like,
To me, it was one of the more interesting things as a gallerist, because I think half of the audience thought it was performance, and the other half hoped it was performance.
yeah, for sure. A lot of people disagreed, but I do, because I remember part of the reason is someone was talking about wanting to use AI to like plan their garden. And I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, I have a really hard time with that kind of stuff, because I'm like, not to go there, but I'm like, there's a genocide. We're slipping like really far into fascism, clearly. Like, and there's a techno oligarchy going on in the world. And then this lady wants to talk about her garden.
Yeah, well, if you look at the statistics, what people use AI for, it's absolutely the most mundane things.
Yeah, I mean, this is mundane, but the more of the point is like, if we're going to be talking about like the dangers of this type of technology, don't bring your fucking tomato plant into the conversation. Like, I don't know, like.
This also might be like a cultural thing, you know? I do feel like the Dutch like to ease into concepts by using small examples and just moving on from there. And especially if they don't understand it.
Yeah.
You're trying to do. And then the garden is a great way to get to a Dutchman's like grasp of things.
Yeah, it's their only private space. Is there like 4 meters of
fenced off
backyard?
Yeah, you noticed it here while working and living here, how much more confined it is actually in terms of living space.
The space?
Yeah,
absolutely. I also noticed it in my art sales.
Yeah.
Every work that I ship to the United States is like 2 meter by 2 meter. Sell it for like 5,000 a piece, and then here they're like, "Do you have a work that's this big?"
Yeah.
Because I don't have any walls. My house is made of stairs. I live in an MC Escher nightmare.
Yeah, but I do think that it has an effect on most artists from other countries that move here. That it is, in a certain sense, it's a very free country. There's multiple things you can do, but in the end, where you're living and what you're looking at, it's very small, very often.
Well, yeah, I mean, what is it, like 40% of the country is agricultural land?
Yeah, a bit more, yeah.
So, like, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah, this is also what the current discussion on what to do with all our farmers. And then you take a train and you see nothing but green, green. And I used to feel like this is a Dutch landscape. And now you can see that it's like a constructed prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything here is fake.
Yeah.
Like your forests are fake.
Yeah. Well, the real trees.
Yeah, the ones close to Germany are the realist, but it is still like manufactured and
So it also has it also to do with the painting?
what?
Fakeness?
Um, I mean, not really. Maybe in like a superficial type of fakeness, but not like artificial. Like how, people are superficial. Like I have that one that I'm showing at the Atelier weekend that's just the large printout of the nuclear explosion. And it says buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
That's the type of like superficial or fake that I think of. Like even after we nuke the planet, there's still going to be some dudes on Wall Street who are like
Trying to find an edge. Yeah. That's also it's a survival mechanism, right? To find like the lowest common denominator and just.
For me, the survival mechanism is like salt and bullets. I mean, that's always what I think about.
Bullets. Shooting. Yeah.
I've wanted to shoot my work for a really long time, but it's really difficult here. Like
Well,
even to go to a range is like super hard.
Yeah, you need to be a member. But you're also in a long line of artists who shut their work. And for me, the most obnoxious thing is European artists shooting their work and then
Well, I'm American.
making a claim about American violence.
Yeah. The something paint a school and then shoot it.
Sure. Yeah. But it's interesting. I have seen a direct effect of like the Trump administration on the way here in Europe we used to think that we were working together with the United States in terms of art.
You're working for.
Yeah.
And then in turn, the top manager is Israel.
Could be.
It goes Netherlands, and then the U.S. is just a middle manager.
Could be.
And then the big boss is Israel, and then on top of that, it's some sort of like actual like cannibal lizard people from like Deep Space Nine or something.
Yeah, it's Putin wearing a skin or
Yeah. No, Hillary Clinton is Ed Gein. She like wears baby masks. I'm this close to like actually believing that. Like I'm this close with all of like the Epstein stuff, and then Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, and like the way that we found out in 2016 that the world was actually run by a massive pedophile ring, and then nothing happened.
No, but
they were able to just be like, stop.
I think it's the last in a long line of things coming out and nothing happening.
Yeah,
like the Panama Papers and all these things.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the book? Because I sent you the thing. I'm going to make a work from the book. Yeah. There's a drawing that a grown adult politician did of Jeffrey Epstein handing balloons and candy to little children. And then the next page is them naked massaging him. And it says, "What a great country." That came out.
Yeah.
Public information.
In the public right now. Yeah.
And there's just nothing we can do about it.
And do you think that's because there isn't a response besides violence, basically?
Yeah, we are like entrapped, gonna sound real cool, but Mark Fisher's capitalist realism.
Yeah.
We are trapped in this thing. Like we are stuck.
Yeah.
We are stepsister, stepbrothers, stuck in the washing machine, getting fucked. And there's no way out of it unless there's a military coup that happens from within the military. That's like one of the most realistic ways. And I don't really see that happening.
Well, it's happening a lot, but in other countries.
Yeah, like Myanmar and things like that. Yeah. But I can't imagine that happening here because they worked in a way that like, where like other countries will like, if they don't like what you're saying or doing, they'll kick your door down and arrest you or whatever. In the US, we don't have to because we can just make your life really hard.
Yeah.
We can take your money away. We can, make sure that you don't have a job. We can make sure you don't have healthcare. So you're just kind of stuck. You're trapped and you're like, well, fuck.
I think that's the biggest thing that The only thing counterculture used to have is like this sense of relevance, and that's very easily taken away because all the media channels, everything else, is just very controllable.
Also, it's so controlled. Algorithms are like the worst. They can tell you how to vote. Like,
Yeah.
they can trick you into voting a certain way. Like in 2016, Trump bought that data from Cambridge Analytica, and that was where he came up with the idea of a wall because he saw that people were Googling it. And they told him, hey, you should mention a wall. And then,
I always think his policy is basically a guy coming in, look what I found, and then
no, it's 100. It's someone puts it on his desk. It's like written in Crayola. And then he's like, this is great. I love this.
But now you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys suck too.
I know we do.
Everyone sucks. I mean, Mark Rutte, I watched, like, I was here for basically his entire...
Well, he was here for about a decade, I think.
Yeah, me too. I've been here for like 8 years. But that man was a robot. He was like an actual manufactured, like in a lab, liberal politician, like perfect liberal politician, neoliberal, let's say, because he's center, essentially.
Yeah, to me it was like this very pure extract of a student networking guy.
Yeah.
Like a fraternity guy or something.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then now you have...
But the scenes of him licking Trump's ass, just...
At the NATO
the endless
conference.
stream of compliments. And it actually working is insane to me.
But he also did it with Biden. Like when Biden, I saw a video when Biden came over to basically tell the Netherlands to stop selling their microprocessors to China.
Yeah.
Because the Netherlands is number 2 at making microprocessors. And they were selling a bunch of them to China. The Biden administration came over here and said, you know,
No. Yeah.
you're not going to do that. And in the video, they're golfing. And every time a camera comes up, Rutte did his best to get as close to Biden as possible. And every time Biden was like, I got ice cream, Rutte was like, like losing his mind. He's just a suck up. Like he knows what he's doing. And then Geert Wilders also knows what he's doing. Meer off minder. But in a way...
I think I doubt that.
He knows what he's doing in a way to gain a base.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by he knows what he's doing.
He's been in politics since 93 or 96
Yeah.
or something.
All you have to do is say like crazy ass shit and then...
Things you can't make happen.
Well, it's also what Trump did.
Yeah.
Except now he's actually doing it. Because everyone was like, there's no way he's going to round up immigrants out of their homes and throw them into unmarked vans.
That's exactly what it is.
He's like, I
think that's the most surprising thing to me, that there isn't a much larger protest to all the Mexicans, all the people just...
Yeah, I also don't understand that. I feel like this is what the Second Amendment is for.
Yeah.
Like, in all actuality, like, if there's a armed person who doesn't identify themselves and they're in an unmarked van trying to kidnap someone, you can shoot them. That is the whole point. You can shoot them.
Yeah.
And I disavow violence. I do not believe in political violence. Wink, wink.
No, but I do think, for Europe, it was always like America were the pioneers, and they were a bit crass and more direct and not so sophisticated and blah, 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 blah. But at least they got things done.
We get things done. Hardcore, we get things done.
And now you see that the whole image unraveling.
Yeah, well, we're still getting things done. We're still getting exactly what they want done. Like, we're invading... A
certain segment of the people is getting...
We're invading Iran. Yeah. We're bombing Venezuelan narco boats. We're kidnapping people in the streets. We're calling trans people terrorists now.
Yeah.
So that is exactly what America wants. They're still getting it done.
Is it what America wants, or is it specifically what a group of Americans want?
It's what a very small, I would say, like 6 billionaires want.
Yeah.
And Stephen Miller, who is like Lex Luthor.
Well, he dresses the part, though.
But not jacked.
No. Now he's this greasy underling. Like,
He's very disgusting looking.
yeah.
No, but I do think like it is a handful of Americans, and I don't even think like most Americans want this. Like my parents are all conservative and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're tricked into thinking they want this.
They want to keep their guns.
Well, they want to keep their guns, and they're like, oh yeah, there's too many Mexicans, and it's like, okay, but do you really want them rounded up? And in their mind, they're like, yeah. But then in actuality, like you don't want that. If you talk to them for 10 minutes, they're like, yeah, okay, maybe I was just a little crazy back there. Maybe I was getting a little hyped up. I mean, that's the whole thing with like Trump supporters is he hyped motherfuckers up.
Yeah.
He got people stoked.
Well, it's the base of populism, right?
Yeah, and that's just something why the Democrats and liberals keep fucking losing, because they can't hype anybody up. Like nobody's hyped about Joe Biden. Nobody's hyped about.
No, the first thing they say, this is going to take a long time and it's going to be complicated.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You can go up there and just be cool. Like that was why Trump won, is because people were just like, "Oh, this guy is cool." Like,
yeah.
He's talking about like finger popping and like getting fucked up and like fucking girls, and people are like, "Damn, this guy is cool as fuck." No Democrat is cool. Like Barack Obama was cool.
That's cool. Yeah,
that's why he won, because he was cool. He wore a tan suit. That's cool. And same with Bill Clinton. He played saxophone. People were like, "This guy's cool." But then for some reason after that, they were like, throw out Hillary. Throw
out of cool guys.
Yeah. You're out of like guys in shades smoking cigarettes. But I think it's important to have cool people. Like,
yeah, I mean, beyond cool, I do think America needs like a kind of everyman, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Somebody, as they always say, somebody I can drink a beer with.
Yeah, it's a cliche,
like,
but it's true.
But that comes up in every election. Like, that's like always in the polling. Like, who would you like to have a beer with? Obviously, you're going to say Trump.
Yeah, but
obviously, you're not going to say Biden. Like, obviously.
Yeah. It's a way to make sense of the world, right? To have someone, yeah.
And there's no, like, I don't even know who they're going to think about running.
Would you say that your work is like, also like hopeful for that kind of America? Is it because it's kind of loose, but it is cool in a sense. It is.
Yeah. I always try to make shades on, try to be cool. Like, I try to have a semblance of like, I don't want to sound like bad, but like, some sort of like American bully almost. I don't want to sound like,
no, but I do think you're like testing the waters. You're saying cross things and just being in the race to see what happens. And
also I have this like true belief that like if you have like the right politics, you can kind of say whatever you want and do whatever you want. Like I believe in healthcare, trans, immigrant rights, all of these things.
Yeah.
Israel sucks balls. Genocide sucks. I've got all the right politics. Yeah. So
right there. Yeah.
I can be mean every now and again. Like I'm allowed to be mean. I still have that freedom. Let me be a little bit of a bully. I care about, healthcare.
Yeah, that's what when we first spoke, this was really appealed to me about the work, but also came to the realization for myself, like, hey, perhaps anger is the right emotion at this very moment.
Yeah, it's necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you gotta shoot somebody in the head.
Yeah, well, for Europeans, that's the other kind of anger, Yeah.
Right. For Europeans, okay, sure. In the European context, you got to yell at somebody.
You got to yell something.
You got to yell at somebody.
In the Dutch context, you got to say ho ho.
Yeah. But I mean, we need to. You got to be angry, but also not in like again, it just feels like I'm too bashy on liberals, but the sort of like liberal way of yelling things is like, fascist, you fascist. And it's like, call them gay. Like,
call them names.
The last thing Geert Wilders wants is to be called gay. Like, if you call him a fascist, he's probably getting like a little erection.
Probably.
He's like, I am a fascist. I do like this.
I'm an Indonesian fascist.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you have to bully these people. Like if you have to bully a bully, it's not going to work.
But isn't it also because in the end, you agree with a lot of the goals of the liberals, but not the way they try to achieve those goals?
Yeah, liberals in particular, leftists. I think every time I have a conversation with like a solid leftist, it's always the same. We agree on everything.
Yeah.
But it's liberals who are like pearl clutching that are like,
Yeah.
I like gay people, but I want iPhone and Shell.
It always reminds me here in Nijmegen, there's a big squatter culture still.
Yeah.
And those guys are tough as well. Yeah. When you're a squatter, you need to be a bully at times.
Yeah.
Their dogs do bite.
Yes, exactly.
And there is this kind of, you don't have to make finance in practice, but you do have to like execute.
Be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Be prepared. And you can't just hide away, perhaps. But
yeah. Walk tall, carry a big stick.
Yeah, perhaps.
That was what some U.S. president said. I'm not smart enough to know the actual guy. I'm going to grab a beer real quick.
Oh, yeah. Grab me one too. Yeah. Are you enjoying this so far?
Yes. I mean,
Cool.
it's Do you want one as well?
Yeah.
It's talking, and I love talking.
Yeah, I'll make an intro later and I'll send you the edit and you can see if it's all right with you.
For what? I didn't hear you.
I'll make an intro later and I'll send you the edit. I'm not going to cut out a whole lot. It's going to be a bit raw, but it's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, talking and having a beer and talking about like calling Donald Trump gay and wanting to shoot someone is pretty par for the course.
Do you feel it's part of your work to talk? Do you feel like your work is in part performative, or are you?
I think a lot of people in the art world in particular should talk more and do less with their work.
Okay.
Like I feel like a lot of people, especially in regards to like political art, will make their art everything that they should have said.
Right.
You know, like they'll make an artwork and then there's a big blurb about how it's about colonialization or whatever else. And then the work's not good. Why don't you make like a really good work that you had fun making and then talk about it and then say, hey, this is what I was thinking while I was doing it. To me, that works better. To me, it's more powerful that way rather than...
Yeah, after 15 years in the gallery world, there's this big like dogma over here where the work has to do all the work.
Yeah.
It needs to be able to function as an autonomous thing. But if you dig deep enough, that's pretty much like a colonial perspective. It's like you need to understand this language, and if you don't, this is not for you.
Right, 100%.
Yeah. And then there's this artist who has a lot to say, but doesn't say it because they feel it invalidates the work.
Yeah. And also, like, for me, the way I work is I try to, like, if I think of something, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. That's also why I have an issue with, like, the funding apparatus, because I don't want to have to give you a plan, and then I have this whole plan thought out, and then I have to wait 3 months to hope that I get the funding to make said work.
Yeah.
I want to do it now.
Yeah.
If I want to make something, I've got it in my head because tomorrow I'm going to want to do something different. So I want to be able to blast out work, bam, 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 and then talk schizophrenically about wanting to shoot the president.
I think every time I end up at your studio or seeing your work somewhere, it's absolutely completely different.
Yeah, because I'm full of ideas and I don't want to have to wait, and I want to just do it.
Put it out there.
Yeah. And what's the point of not doing it? Like, the only thing that stops people is like fear of like, maybe it's bad. But if it's bad, fuck it, who cares? You can cover it up.
Yeah. I think this is also part of the bigger story that people through internet, there's no room for mistakes. At least I feel like it.
Yeah.
And there is still plenty of room for mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Also, people feel like they have to make a sort of style for themselves.
Yeah.
And in the end, at the end of the day, that style ends up being manufactured through algorithms already. Like stuff that you see, stuff that you consume, you start making stuff in the likeness of that.
Yeah.
And also there's with the funding apparatus, we've talked about it before. Like people see what gets funded,
Yeah.
and then they kind of like start to slowly just make things like that other stuff that gets funded. So then you just have a whole bunch of work that ends up looking the same because it all gets funded because that's what the funding people like, and then.
I've heard of the first funds that are starting to use AI to judge propositions, and in an attempt to speed things up.
Yeah, I mean the one for at the other place.
Yeah, but you wrote it using AI.
Yeah. But they loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that an AI would also love it.
Yeah.
And an AI would be like, brother.
Now, for me, it was I worked at the Mondrian Fund for a very long time as an advisor, and the most worthwhile thing was the discussion with the other panel members, getting to a good conclusion. I think you've made, but the more and more you see this subsidy thing going on, people want to speed it up, want to spend less money, want to spend less money on the commission as well. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
But I also, that's the other thing is like everyone's obsessed. This is again, like these are why these institutions are like these neoliberal institutions, because at the end of the day, they're thinking about efficiency, speed, capital. Like, what's the quickest way I can make my money? How do I divorce myself from any type of like emotion or feeling with it?
Yeah, well, the starting point for a lot of these funds is that there isn't that much money. There's a couple of exceptions, of course, and you see them picking on completely different projects because they can take a risk.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of good art has been made throughout the years with subsidies. It's a system that works.
I don't deny that for sure.
Yeah. There's something to be said for responding to things.
Yeah,
like a human.
I mean, it has to be done like in order to actually choose something good. But I guess more the reason that I have this issue with subsidies is because of my inability to keep my mouth shut and not to be like, actually, you suck. Actually, your whole existence is flawed. That and also the.
But and then again, I could imagine that you wouldn't mind saying you're someone, like you get a report in and say, well, we're not going to give you money because your work sucks.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
I would more happily have that than.
And I've heard this so many times. Like they feel the obligation to sugarcoat critique to make it nice for everyone, but a straight answer might be much more helpful.
I think it would be.
Yeah.
But whenever I got denied the Mondrian funding and I asked why, they said because my work didn't look it didn't look connective enough.
Oh, right.
Because my work is all very different.
Yeah.
And part of what they actually want is a product. They want you to be able to reproduce something indefinitely the same way over and over again. As a painter, that's what it feels
I can see where you're coming from. I don't think the people who judge the applications do necessarily think that way.
Sure.
But here again, it's like for some of these things, you get like over 100 people applying or even more. And then you do have some time to read all the dossiers and to go through all the portfolios. But you don't have enough time to look at someone with a very eclectic oeuvre and who's also shouting about conspiracies. And it's the easy way out, and it's forced upon us in every aspect of our lives, I think, to think less, be less critical, and just
100%.
keep things moving. Yeah.
And I'm just in general, I'm suspicious of like artists who have a style. Like in general, I'm already like a bit skeptical of that because it's like you're 28 years old.
But for older artists,
Sure. For older artists, but I'm in the group. I'm now 30, but I'm in the group of like younger artists, and it's like, there's no way you've been out of art school for like 4 years. How is it possible that you have a style?
You have to find what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you figured it out already. Like, whoa, congratulations. But I just can't.
I do think there's, especially here in Dutch art academies, there's quite a few graduates who are looking for that point very, very eagerly. They just want to be there. They just want to find out
this is what I'm good at, and I'm
Yeah.
going to do that for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because that is like the easy route.
I'm not sure if it's easy, but
I think for some people it is. I mean, for me, it's very difficult because, like for example, those the ones that we took to the art fair,
Yeah.
the Victor paintings,
Victor Viesbeuk, yeah.
I couldn't do that again.
Ah.
Like that physically pains me to have a. Do you know how stressed I was having a white canvas in the studio? Just like, ooh. Like, every time I move, just like, oh fuck, am I gonna touch it? Am I gonna? Like I can't live like that. My cortisol levels were like through the roof just by having a white canvas. So.
And for me as a gallerist, it's very interesting because, the things got a great response. And people really connected with it, and also with the idea like this hedonistic, we need to go back to like an older Europe that's a bit more dirty and crass. And, I think, well, yeah, the first instinct is often make more of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going somewhere with that. But then you need to check on yourself and say, well, no, we're not going to do that because it's going to lose a lot of momentum.
But I think also for me, it can figure out, it can change. And I think that's the beauty of something like that is like, you can evolve. Yeah. So like, I'm still doing those things. I got the Swedish cartoons and I just did another painting of a cartoon.
Yeah.
But I did a crazy background. So then I don't really have to worry about getting the canvas dirty. But it also works for that painting, And
how did you end up at the Duds?
Well, I was in Italy, and whenever I'm in Italy, I feel very religious because I go to all the Catholic churches, and the paintings are incredible. And I am like, I should do something like religious. And then I'm like, but I'm also really lazy. And I don't want to do a 2-meter oil painting.
Sure, yeah.
That's so detailed. And then I was like, how can I do this easy? And then I started thinking about like bitmapping. And so I was taking pictures of like Caravaggio. And I was like, ooh, the like chiaroscuro of this painting lends itself really well to bitmapping because of the contrast. Yeah. So I started bitmapping and running it through an AI to get like the right dot consistency. And I was like, oh shit, that looks kind of fucking cool. So then I did it. And then I was like, I can do this with any image, actually. Any image I want. And so then the next one was the Bud Dwyer shooting himself in in his head. It's just him with like with the gun in his mouth. And that works really well as well for this. So I think these kind of things, these still images, lend themselves quite handily to this bitmap. And I will say something, I have to give full credit to Victor Krepsley for what he said. He said it reminds him of like the fog of nostalgia. When you look back, when you try to remember something from your past.
Sure.
Because it was like this cheeseburger that was like on the dollar menu, and we were talking about the dollar menu, and he was like, yeah, it kind of has this like vague haze of a memory. And I was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Can I use that? Yeah.
You're pretty smart, man. Because I've always really struggled to talk about art in like
not really.
Well, like in a meaningful way, in a conceptual way that people are like, what is your work about? And I'm like, oh, it's the juxtaposition of the intersection of technology, and I find that really cringe. And
you feel like you need to make it complicated, like to.
I swear to God, everyone wants you to. In art school, they really ask you to. Maybe not here, but at least where I went to college, they were like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And then they were really like, why did you do that? So like if it has something like a little dot here, they're like, why is that dot here? What's the purpose of that? And then I'm just like, I finally figured out a way to finagle around it. Just being like, I work in a chance operation.
Sure, yeah.
But I find it, and I feel like most artists feel like they have to do that. They're like, oh, well, my work, it talks about blah, 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 blah. And that's where I'm like...
Well, that's always been fascinating to me, that a lot of artists kind of move into the defensive when you ask them about their work. There's this whole group who has this pitch prepared, this perfect little thought, like fine-tuned to whoever's across from them. And then there's a whole group of people like, well, hey, could you tell me something about this work? And they start basically saying, well, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that, it's not going here. And then you ask, why is the dot there? And then they think they need to say something. Well, you could just say, yeah, it's there. You know?
I just got hamburger. It's a cheeseburger.
But again, I think here you also might need to be a bit more of a bully.
A bit more what?
Of a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's always been my fascination here in the art world. Like in the 80s and the 90s, there was a whole group of artists, mostly male artists, that were just very much in your face. And there were, as much as they had a lifestyle. And if you asked them something about a dot on a painting, they would just laugh and fuck off at a rich friend. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think, I like that way of working. I like that it's a sense of freedom that one gets by just saying, I did it because I wanted to.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think that should be enough. And that's where I was saying earlier, like, I think when you involve politics in art, you should do the talking. You know, you don't have to let the work speak for itself. Like, you know how many times that I've seen a work that's like, fuck whatever politician, you know, or a work that says like, female bodies rule or whatever. And it's like, just make a cool work and then talk about that. Like, I'm fine with your politics, but just talk about it. Don't try to like force it into this frame because it doesn't fit.
Well,
in the frame.
the text blurb is the worst thing. You know?
Yeah. But also, I mean, the frame of the art, because this art, like, I don't know, the politics are so much heavier and go so much beyond this frame that just you saying feminism rocks or whatever it is, like, feminism does rock, but it has to be talked about in a way that makes it rock. You can't just like put it on a painting and then expect people to be like, wow, I'm blown away. I'm actually not a misogynist anymore.
No.
You've changed my mind.
Well, I think that's the core of things, right? You've changed my mind, or what's the end goal of the work? Yeah. If you're really aspiring to change people's minds or to let them see something else that they haven't thought of before, then a more direct language might be apt. But the whole 80s and 90s have been wrought with irony and cynicism and covering your very simple message in a whole blanket of context.
Yes. Too much context.
Yeah.
I mean, when you cover yourself in so many blankets, you don't want to get out of bed either.
Oh, right.
So then it's very easy to actually not do anything or say anything when that happens.
But I also feel like there's a lot of young artists who feel like they're saying a lot, but only to people who already understand the language.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing that, because I'm a big working class guy, I come from a working class family. I'm wearing Timberlands, for God's sake.
The contrast is nice though.
And I think that more art needs to be directed towards people in the working class. And a lot of artists like to claim that they do this, that they care about the working class or that they care about their locals. But really, it's like, for the most part, these people, when they go in to read that text blurb, you know.
It's a very rough road.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know what the fuck this says.
And I don't have the time to read it, what I'm doing anyway. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good social practices in those people, but you don't see that in the galleries or in the art fairs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've shown this kind of work, like more spotter-based or more direct work at these places. And then the response is something completely different. Like people ask me, what's this work about? Well, the artist is saying that war is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it? Yeah, well, that's enough, right?
Yeah, well, that is true, actually. It's also easy when it's something that's so true. Like,
Yeah.
gay people should exist. Correct.
Yeah, you can express it in a multitude of ways, but you don't have to like embezzle the whole message.
Yeah.
Just, this is what I want to do.
But it's also, it is good for more working class people because, you know, it's art speak is made for MFAs and things like this, like people who have like second degrees, and it's made by those people, for those people.
I'm not sure who was by, but I read an article that claimed that It used to be to like put wool over the eyes of the people who were buying it. Like they think, oh,
Yeah.
there's so many words here, this must be good.
Yeah,
Here's my wallet.
For sure.
But I think now, what the article said as well is that it's a sign. It's like an insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like talking to your own friends in a way that other people can't catch on to because you might say something that they don't agree with.
Yeah, which is the last thing you want,
Yeah.
is to disagree with one of your friends, God forbid.
Or to disagree
forbid.
with the working class.
Yeah.
You know, that's because you're on their side.
I mean, I was at RIB,
Yeah.
where Lara works, my wife, and there was this woman that we were talking to, and I was saying this kind of stuff, and I remember she said something along the lines of, well, do we really want those people here? And it's like, yeah. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
She was, wearing crazy, like, horned-rimmed glasses and was in, like, her 50s or whatever, like, clearly, like, art, social elite type of person who's, like, talking all of this crap, and then you're like, oh, well, I think, like, art should be for, like, working-class people, and then she's like, should it be?
Yeah. But you don't have to make it for them. You can include them.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's a very significant thing there. I think it's a lot of the nonprofits here, a lot of the places where art is shown, galleries as well. They cater to a certain kind of people and claim to cater to the whole lot.
exactly.
When you really try to do so, you see that it's also in part impossible.
Yeah.
It asks a lot of both parties. And,
well, yeah, because the other thing is, like, you do, like I said, we're trapped in this, like, capital system, so you do need to make money.
yeah.
You have to survive. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or ors about it.
No.
You have to survive. You have to, and in order to survive, you do have to have money. And then who are the only people buying art is snobby rich people with large houses.
Yeah. Well, not even, but also people who feel like the art is part of their lifestyle, so to say. Because we had like the builders of the space here and people coming in, and they have money because the trades are good money at the moment.
Yeah.
And he told them about the prices of the works, and the standard response is, oh, they must think it's too much. Well, I think no, this is handiwork. It takes a couple of hours. Well, but I don't want it. Why don't you want it? Because it's not nice.
Yeah. Smart. That's a smart person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that person is correct.
Yeah, it's not nice. No, it isn't. It's like it's a piece of cardboard or it's a hastily made thing, and that's the exploitation. I think there's more of a divide with the working class, so to say,
Right.
than in terms of prices or being hard to get into openings and stuff. That's always like the narrative, right?
Yeah. Like, well,
You don't feel
what is
welcome.
this shit on the ground?
Yeah.
That's
They can understand that shit on the ground could be very expensive.
yeah, but it's not nice.
It's not nice.
I mean, my grandma to this day
Yeah.
will send me pictures of a still life I did in college, and she's like, "Why don't you do stuff like this anymore? This is so pretty." It's like, yes, I understand, Grandma. She sends me the same one. It's a picture of a silver pitcher that I did in oil, and I crushed it.
Yeah.
To toot my own horn, I crushed it. And she's like, "It looks exactly like real silver. Can you please paint more like this?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry, Grandma. It is just, I'm not going to do still lifes. I'm doing hamburgers now. I'm doing cheeseburgers and politicians shooting themselves in the face. I can't do silver pitchers." But yeah, that's what those people
And do you
like.
think intrinsically that's what you want to do, or is it also like you feel art as a means to express yourself in like a counterintuitive way, basically? Because there's a whole market for nice things.
Yeah, for sure.
And perhaps nice things are also the way into all the people's hearts that you want to reach, basically.
Yeah, I to a degree, I can see that, like that sort of validity, but I get so goddamn bored. I get so fucking tired, and I'm just like, okay, I can't do another one of these like A4 size still lives. But also, I'm too stupid to do anything else. Like, I can't. I have to make art and I have to make it the way that I want to do it because that's the only thing I know how to do. I got accepted into art school when I was like 16. I immediately stopped taking math classes.
Sure.
I started skipping school because I was like, I've already been accepted. So sans, high school diploma, I've been accepted.
Yeah.
I'm done. So I just gave up on everything else. That's the only thing I know how to do.
Amazing.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, well, that's just it.
Yeah.
I don't have an option B.
No, but exactly in that position, you would think you would cater to a market, but you don't.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's because I've found that I have to do it the way that I want to do it, or else I'm fucked.
That's Rob. He makes nice paintings.
These.
Yeah.
I know.
One. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. If you force yourself into doing other things just for monetary value, people can tell.
It's so interesting to me, like the whole 17, 16, all these, there's been centuries of artists making exactly what the people want. And then suddenly there was this surge of individualism and now you can't do it anymore. And I've seen it happen in practice, like people say, oh, people really like this, I'm just going to do this. And it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Because also people can tell that it's fake.
Yeah.
I sold a bunch of work when I was in college. I think I've showed you the paintings before of the limbs, the bodies sort of like all crossed. I sold a lot of those works, and that was like rare for a 19-year-old to do, is to be selling like a lot of work still in college. And then I was like, oh shit, I should make a lot of these. Yeah. And they got bad. They got worse and worse each painting. So
would you be open for working with a studio, like a group of assistants? Right? In line with your laziness?
The same way that Gerhard Richter did. I don't know if you've seen the documentary Gerhard Richter painting. The way he just kind of like they mix the paint, they stretch the canvas, and then they scatter like roaches. And then he comes in and he's like,
he does the grand gesture. Yeah.
That I could do.
Okay. You need to feel like the maestro.
Yeah, but I couldn't have people working for me.
Okay.
Like on it, because then I would be like, I actually don't like that.
Because in a sense, to include people and to have, you do use AI to get to a lot of concepts and things. You could include people in your practice, but there's still this, you need to be in charge of things.
Yeah. I'm also like, as much as I love like socialist politics and things like that, I'm a very non-community.
Sure.
But that's just the tism. I can't help it. Like people like at my current studio space, they'll like look through the window and they'll be like, hey, and I'm just like, go away. I like someone came in the other day and I was like mid like sprinkling dye on like a canvas, and she was like, hey, we're doing the community like come together for the studio to clean up the back garden. It'd be really nice, like we're all together if you want to help. And
you started to pretend you have earphones.
Yeah, I did. I'm listening to very bad podcasts. And I'm just like, no.
It's a tough thing, right? So you believe in this idea of community, but to actually participate in it.
Yeah, it's tough. Also because like, I just want to do my own thing. Like I have the studio. I understand that the studio space is like communal. We have like 80 studios or whatever in the space.
Yeah.
But just leave me alone. I'm there to paint and drink beer and chain smoke cigarettes and stare at my own work. Like, I'm not there to like hang out with you and be friends.
No, but you do. No, I see this all over the place. Of course, there's so many studio complexes, and they all start out with the idea of we're going to do a communal thing. And there's often a couple of artists who are really good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's a lot of like profit to be made there, both socially and then financially, I think.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't match.
I'm also just like socially inept. Like I can't.
Well,
I mean,
you're fond of your boundaries, but yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I'm really good at talking to people. I'm charismatic, blah blah blah. I can speak to people, but I have like a limit when it comes to like my space.
Sure.
I'm in my studio right now. I'm trying to make work. Please shut up and go. I find it really difficult.
All right. I do think we have enough material.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're gonna close out on our anti-social